All right, we're watching Packwatch. He's going to be playing on Kings Row. This is gold, and I assume it's on PC. 120 games played, 50% win rate. Climbing with tank and gold seems impossible, so I'd like some help. Hello, I've played 120 games this season with a 50% win rate. I'm stuck in gold, so I'd like some help. Consistently, it feels like how I play has little, if any, bearing on the outcome of the match. So I'd like if you could take the time to have a look at some of my replay codes. I would like some feedback on any mistakes you see, even if you only watch one code. But if you don't have the time to watch the codes, I want to know if any of you feel the same way about climbing on tank. I don't feel that way about climbing on tank. For the record, I think you have enormous agency over the ability to win games. It seems that the outcome of each map is mostly dependent on DPS, with some room for support players to throw if they want to. When it comes to tank versus tank, I feel like it has marginal leeway for major plays, especially at this rank. Typically, I can position myself to use less resources, trade with the enemy tank, and enable my team, but for the most part, this is made irrelevant if the rest of your team is unaware of how to capitalize on this. This is a major issue where I've noticed in the heat of the moment, players just run straight at the enemy tank, through the middle. This is ironic, we'll get to that later. Through the middle of the map, even if it makes no sense. Therefore, tanks like Zarya, Orisa, and Ryan can find much more success than Winston. Often I see people say, on average, you will climb if you play better than your opponents. But for the reasons I've explained, I don't think that's true for playing tank. Feels like most of the time I lose, it's the team, not me. We're going to look at the King's Road code. I'm playing D.Va and Zarya this game. This is an example of how I feel, largely relevant. If you stop watching me, you'll notice the DPS is simply not doing anything. So, I have seen this game. I'm going to open with, you don't know how to play Zarya and D.Va. I haven't seen your other codes, but I'm going to guess that you also don't know how to play the other tanks. I bet some of them are probably a little better than your Zarya and D.Va, especially your Zarya. But you do not look like someone who has any idea of how to play these heroes. Like if I asked you in 2 sentences, explain to me what D.Va and Zarya do, I guarantee you whatever answer you gave is going to be wildly wrong. Based on your play, you have no idea how to play these heroes. So I think what you believe tank is you are the hero that sits in front of your team and trades with the enemy tank. We even hear that kind of in your words, right? You're like, oh, I traded the enemy tank, maybe trade positively the enemy tank. That's not what the goal of a tank is. Every tank has their own particular niche, their own style of things that they're good at and things that they are bad at. So for example, as Winston, you would not want to trade with the enemy tank. I think you know that, right? I think at some level, you've played enough games that you understand that Winston's not a hero where you're just going to sit in the front line and zap the enemy tank, and you'd look to dive. But yet, when we look at your D.Va play, that is literally what you're going to do the whole time, right? I think there's maybe like one moment in the entire defense phase where you try to go anywhere other than the front line. All you do is stand in the front line and shoot the enemy Orisa the entire time. I don't think it even occurs to you that you could do something else, despite the fact that you have a 3.5 second booster, right? Like cooldown, that you can use to go anywhere you want, like all over the place. But the only thing that you can see as D.Va is, I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to shoot, and I'm going to DM, and I hope that wins me the game. So yes, you lack agency in the game because you don't do anything. Now, on offense, you switch to Zarya, which feels to me like you heard someone say that Zarya is a counter to Orisa, and you're like, that's fine, I'll play the counter to Orisa, and that will help us win the game. But you have no idea how to play Zarya. You constantly have either no energy or high energy, but you're imminently about to die. It is like so obvious from watching your gameplay that you have no clue how to play these heroes. I don't know if you're gold 1 or if you're gold 5, which I think is a pretty big skill difference between those two. But if I had to guess, I think you're closer to silver than you are to platinum, right? You're probably on the low end of gold. If I saw this gameplay out of the blue, I would not have even guessed gold, especially in your Zarya. Like, we're gonna go through it. It truly does not look like you know what you're supposed to be doing on either one of these heroes. So before you're like, oh, look at my DPS not doing anything. Sometimes DPS can't do anything because the tank isn't doing anything. If I look at this game, the first thing that pops out is you're literally not doing anything to change the fight. If you don't believe me, let's watch. Okay. So game has started. I don't really know why you're shooting right now, but sure. I mean, it doesn't hurt. You should have eaten that orb right away, right? Like the second you see that orb, eating Moira orb is one of the most annoying things for Moira, and it's extremely good value for D.Va, right? You should always eat damage orbs. Okay, so you're generally sitting in the corner. Now you're taking a bunch of damage, but there's no reason to be standing here. You do functionally 0 damage at this, okay? And I'm going to guess, because you don't really play D.Va that much, that you understand that. Now, when I say you don't play D.Va that much, you might have dozens of games of D.Va. You might even have, 25 hours of competitive play D.Va. I seriously doubt it, but you might even have 25 hours of competitive play D.Va. That doesn't mean you understand how D.Va works, right? It is extremely, just like in the same way that, if somebody says, I play basketball, right? And then if somebody says that they play basketball, I might be like, okay, well, let's play a game. Let's see how you can do. Somebody might have played hundreds or even thousands of hours of basketball in their lives. And I run into players like this, and I watch them play, and I'm like, you have no idea what you're doing. Like, all you do is just mess around. Like, yeah, you can dribble, yeah, you can shoot, but like not well, not under any pressure, not of any consistency, not of any particularly good form, right? Like, you have very low basketball IQ. There's a difference between playing and getting better. And there's no indication here right now, like we have watched literally like 5 seconds of your gameplay, and I can already tell there are massive problems. There's no reason to be shooting the Sojourn here. You do functionally 0 damage at this range to the Sojourn. The Sojourn, meanwhile, does full damage against you, right? So you're going to be taking like 150 plus damage per second right now from the Sojourn. Just tuck into the corner. Like, you don't need to be standing here farming her charge, because that's exactly what she wants to do. She wants to build railgun off you and use it to railgun your teammates. I don't want that to happen. DM it or walk behind the corner, right? You don't really have a job yet until they try to force their way into the corner. So, you eat Javelin, okay, good, right? You've decided to back away from the choke, but I don't really understand why. Your whole team is set up for the choke. You have turrets here. Why are you not holding the choke? The choke is very strong. I'm sure you're going to see this on offense side. The choke is very strong. It's actually quite hard to break the choke. It's not uncommon that teams can get full held in the choke. Why are you giving up the choke? What's causing you to decide to back up? Is it the Sojourn? Because the Sojourn literally just tuck in and play right here, and then you can shoot whoever comes through without getting shot by the Sojourn. That's all you have to do. That awareness is just not there. Now you decide, okay, maybe you're going to walk up again, but you're like kind of indecisive. You don't really know what you're supposed to be doing here, which again demonstrates a lack of experience and understanding with playing tank. So right now, that is not going to reach the Orisa in time, right? So the range is enough, but I think the spear is long gone. Yeah, before. I appreciate you trying, but like clearly you were too late on it. But fine. Maybe you're trying to prevent something from follow-up. It's okay. We're not going to worry about that too much. So you see that they flank, right? Obviously it hits the turrets. So right now is a good time to activate missiles. You're a little slow on this. Okay, you are trying to eat the shots, which is sort of effective, right? It does prevent them from killing turrets a little bit, but you activate missiles. Okay, fine. Right, Orisa's low, definitely could have gotten the kill, but it's okay. So, Reaper's right here has killed your Hanzo. What should you do? Engage on the Reaper. Why would I not engage on the Reaper right now? Alright, there's nobody to choke, you know, because you just saw them go back and saw the Orisa's low. Immediately boost onto the Reaper and kill him. Right, or force Wraith, right? Force Wraith, and then you race back, okay, fine. At least you force something. But what do? You just DM. But the Reaper is not going to kill the Symmetra here quickly. If you have any experience playing a Symmetra or Reaper, you'll know it's actually very difficult for the Reaper to hit the Symmetra because of how small a target is. He is not going to be able to quickly kill a Symmetra. You should immediately fly into his face and kill him. Right? Force Wraith, great. Chase him, kill him. You have all the tools for this. Right? But you don't do it. That's a problem. Now you're down one hero, and things are just going to get worse from here. Right? All right, Reaper's gone. Soldier's here. Soldier's here. Okay, so at this point in time, you're down a hero. So the correct response is we all back up and play backside of point. Right? We play backside of point. We even give up the point if we have to. Let it tick down. Give them 1 tick, 2 ticks. Right? Wait for our Hanzo to come back, and then we re-engage. You do not want to be forcing any fight right now, especially with the Reaper on your flank. Yeah, all you gotta do is back up. Just back up. Just back up. Again, you go over here and you shoot this Life Weaver. Is this value? Does this feel like this is gonna help you in the fight? Look how little damage you're doing to the Life Weaver. You just shot him for 9 damage. 9 damage. That's it. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Just back up. All you gotta do is back up. You don't want to burn resources here. You just want to back up. All right, so it's good. We're backing up. Okay, great. So we're playing backside of point. I don't know why we're walking forwards right now. Again, give up time on the point. It's okay. The closer you are to them, the more damage you're going to take. Just give up the point. Slow it down. All right, so this boost was crazy. Why did you boost closer here? All right, you're taking a ton of damage already. Right? Most of your DM is gone. Boosting in here is bad. You could have just DM'd here and walked back to cover. Right? Just staying out here is very, very dangerous. So once again, this is the reason why I'm like, look, you should play all the way back here. So much problem. Give up time on the point. Your Hanzo's almost back. It's almost a 5v5 again. But if you take too much damage, you'll be burned down before the Hanzo gets back and you won't be able to take a real fight. Just back up here. Right? Now you're super low. The problem is now you have your whole team, but now you can't re-engage because you're super low. This is all you. For the record, this is all you. This is not your team. You are choosing to take a bad fight from the very beginning, right? And now everybody gets burned down. There's not enough resources, and eventually someone gets picked. If you just play back, right? I guarantee you as a tank, if you just walk backwards, right, DMing the whole way, your whole team would walk back with you. But because you stay up, your team tries to stay up with you too, right? See? People are up here because you're up here trying to help. Because, again, you see how when you go to the left, your supports are going to drift forwards here, right? To try to help you. See, the Ana comes forward right now to try to help you because she recognizes that you're low. That's what baits her forwards. Is this her mistake? It is. She should just let you die because there's no way she can help you at that point in time. But, I mean, it is what it is, right? Ana gets caught out and then she dies, right? And at this point, there's no way to win the fight. Fine. Next fight. Okay, so what are we looking for as D.Va? What is good play? For D.Va, when you're playing against the Brawl lineup, your goal is that you constantly attack the edges and high ground. You are not going after the opposing tank. You are going after all the heroes playing anywhere other than main, right? So main is this route right here. The edges are anywhere over here, right? Over here, down here, right? Over here, etc. King's Row is a fairly linear map. It is not a great map for, like, you know, heroes that play on the edges like D.Va, right? It's not a great map for dive in general, right? It's often why you see Brawl. That doesn't mean it's not playable. I'm saying it's just not great. And if you find yourself, you're like, well, basically enemy just death balls down main, D.Va may not be the right choice, right? I would not play D.Va in this situation. I know everybody says, oh, D.Va's OP, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to win in every single game, right? I don't necessarily know that I agree with that either, but I'm just noting that, like, it doesn't, like, you're not playing to D.Va's strengths, which are her hypermobility and her burst killing potential. We have not seen you use her mobility at all, and we have not seen you use her burst kill potential. So why are you playing D.Va? All you're doing is just matrixing damage and hope your team carries you. That's not what tanks do, right? Tanks have to be threatening. You are not a threat. At no moment in time have we seen you be a credible threat to anybody. So let's watch right now. So right now, you are 372 health. You've lost 400 health. The only hero you are fighting is the Orisa. You have a Cassidy. The Orisa has taken a mere 110 damage. You have lost 400 health to 100 from the Orisa in a 2v1 situation. How can you look at this and say, I trade positively? It's literally just the Orisa. She's the only one who is shooting you, right? It's only the Orisa. You've taken 0 damage from anyone else. The Orisa is shredding you because this is what she's good at. She pops Fortify, and people who stand in front of her deal very little damage to her, and she does a good amount of damage to you, and you are getting shredded, right? Now DM is forced, right? DM is forced, right? You're getting pushed back. Like, this is all bad play. I don't try to trade with the Orisa in the scenario, right? I go after anybody else, for example, the Soldier, right? Or just back up here, play slow, get more team members here, then try to re-engage. I definitely am not losing now 520 health to the Orisa. This is not good play. So, Orisa comes up, she pops ulti. Granted, this is really bad play on the Orisa's part. There's no reason she should be doing this. The card's still back here, but, like, this is gold. People make bad mistakes all the time, right? You're going to zip out. The Orisa's still low. She dies because she's silly. She used burned all her cooldowns. But, like, she could easily have done 500 damage and just sat back here, gotten healed, and not forced this, okay? You are very lucky that she ends up using ulti here unnecessarily, but fine. So at this point, we aggress, right? You have your whole team. You have health, right? Just push, start killing, right? What you do, you tuck into the left to make sure you can't take shots from over there and just start shooting people. Then you go in, then you tuck into the right and keep shooting people. Why are we backing up? They have no tank. It's a 4v4. You are still a tank. You have supports. Keep pushing. Kill all of them. Be aggressive. This is your moment. Why are you playing back right now? See? You're scared of just the Reaper. Just the Reaper. I mean, it makes sense because the Orisa's able to bully you, right? Much less the Reaper. Like, you don't feel comfortable taking this fight at all. Instead, you allow your Cassidy to be frontlining. Are you the tank or is the Cassidy the tank? Why are you at full health standing behind the Cassidy? Right? Look. You're like, oh man, there's a Reaper attacking me. I better get out of here. Just fight him. Your whole team is here. Just fight him. Shoot, he can't out-regen 4 people shooting at him. Just kill him, right? Why are you all the way... Look at this. Your support and your Cassidy are in front of you. It is crazy to me that people will blame their teams when there's such basic stuff going wrong all the time. There's no way you look at this image right now. Like, we screenshotted this. There's no way you look at the screenshot and think, I'm doing my job. Full health tank, backing away from 2 DPS and the support. How could you look at this and think, I am doing my job? Literally, just go kill them. Like, you have so many tools. You do 144 damage per second with your cannons, right? Plus your missiles, you do 215 damage per second, not including headshots. You can burst kill any of the squishies in the game. People complain about it all the time on the forums about how good D.Va is at this. Why are you not doing this? We have not even seen you try to do it. One time, the basic combo. You boost, you bump, you shoot, you activate missiles, they die in 1 to 1.5 seconds. That's it. That's all you gotta do, right? Obviously, Reaper's gonna Wraith out. That's fine. We'll kill him after the Wraith. No problem. You're not even trying. You're not even trying, which tells me that you don't know how to play D.Va, right? It would be like, what's an example, right? It'd be like if you just like basically never use your wall, right? It's only like, oh, I'm about to die, I wall off in front of myself. Well, that's not what wall is for. You wall off the enemy team to split their team and then kill whoever's on your side of the wall. You don't use the wall just to defend yourself. And we see the same problem with you. It's like, you don't even try to do the basic 101 D.Va stuff. You know? Like, there's no point in playing D.Va if you don't use her kit. And you're just not using her kit. Right? So, you kind of, you're really wasting your opportunity right now, right? Everybody's backing up because you're backing up, and now you've burned down way too much. You had huge opportunities to kill them, but now it is too late. So, tree is popped. What do? We just chill. Just play slow, okay? Just sit here. The Reaper can't kill you here, right? There's still 2 supports plus your Cassidy here. Just sit here, right? DM, right? Back up a little bit so the Reaper doesn't do too much damage. Shoot the Reaper, stall out, or you can fly to this side, whatever you prefer. Just don't try to commit to anything. Instead, what are we doing? We're trying to commit to a fight. Why are you trying to commit to a fight where you're the only one who's going to be able to fight them? You're put yourself into a 4v1 scenario, plus they have tree healing, and your team is LOS blocked. What are you doing right now? Now, I can guess what you're doing. What you're thinking is, I'm going to use bomb, and I'm going to use bomb to kill them. Now, you're violating another D.Va 101 rule, which is do not use bomb to try to kill the enemies. I know it does kill the enemies, or it can kill the enemies, but that does not work, not consistently. At high level play, basically every D.Va bomb is used as a second life. You get aggressive, then you get demeched, then you pop bomb, you remech, and you keep aggressing. And having 2 725 health D.Vas aggress you is really, really hard to deal with. But that still doesn't mean aggressing at the wrong time. There is no need to take this fight right now. Okay? Like, I know the Eureka's coming back, but you already lost your window here, right? The tree is going to block LOS here. There's not going to be any help here. So we can see, you're going to try to do this. So, here's the problem. Your D.Va bomb is bad. It's really bad. Okay? You toss it forward, it's an angled wall, it slides, so it's not even going to get people in the back. Number 1. Number 2, they could have taken cover over here, right? Or over here. Number 3, you could have avoided this if you understood how to throw D.Va bomb into the air and then pop the bomb right here, ideally, right? Right here, ideally, would have been excellent. I would not expect anybody to be able to do that below Masters, for the record. I expect a basic bomb pop in the air. I think you could do it gold. That's not hard. You can practice like 2 or 3 bombs, you'll get a hang of it right away. But this is a terrible bomb, and now you've wasted your ultimate for nothing. Granted, the enemy Orisa did too, so you're both equally bad. All right, we're trying to boost kill somebody, finally. Finally, we use the technique, okay? You try to boost in, and you try to kill. Here's the problem. Number 1, you can't track, right? You see how much of your missiles that you've lost already before getting on target. We have lost almost half of our missiles and hit like barely any of yet. Now, you can't track him. Now you've lost the rest of your missiles. Now you're still not hitting him. And the result is, instead of a Reaper who's nearly dead, you have a Reaper that's full health. That demonstrates a lack of technique and mechanics on D.Va. I don't think you want to activate missiles quite that early, right? You can wait until you bump him or right before you bump him. That way you make sure to land all the missiles, number 1. Number 2, this is not a good time to be aggressing, because right now their whole team can shoot you, and your team is not able to help so much. Okay, you don't need to dive the Reaper at this moment in time. You just saw the Moira fade, and you saw her fade forwards. Generally speaking, Moiras will fade in the direction they are looking. It is relatively rare at lower ranks that they will fade any direction other than the way they're looking. She is aggressing on your team. All you gotta do is just boost over here and then instantly kill her. Then you can go back to doing whatever you want, and the fight is won. Instead, we have this completely botched attack on the Reaper, and then instead of DMing the Reaper here, who is doing about 200 damage per second to you, you're DMing nothing. Still nothing, and then finally you start DMing, and now you've lost another 200 something health. Again, basic stuff. Now, we see Reaper wraithing in. What does that mean? Generally speaking, that means he is going to ult. Our job is to follow him and then DM to save our team. Is that what we do? No, we're like, screw it. Forget our team. We don't need our team. Now I'm going to boost over here for I don't even know what reason. You decided to take high ground because you're like, oh, I guess I should take high ground right now. This is far too late. This fight is ultra committed, right? And now Reaper has killed 2. And what are we doing? Nothing. We are doing nothing, right? You have to stop blaming your team. You have to stop blaming your DPS. Your DPS are dying because you let a Reaper just walk into them as like one of the best heroes in the game at dealing with Reaper. It is so telegraphed too. It's not like he snuck in there or teleported above them and dropped on them. You see it right now. Just literally follow him, then pop DM. Absolutely crazy. Even with just a little bit of bar, that's enough time to save him, right? He gets slept almost immediately. Like even a little bit of DM saves everyone on your team. This is like terrible play. Now you're down 2 heroes. Now what are you going to do? You can't win a 3v5. I can't win a 3v5. This is not going to happen. This is just terrible play from start to finish. At no moment in time have we seen a single good play out of you. All right. So we're going to go over here. We're doing little missiles for spam. That's fine. That's pretty good missiles, actually. All right. So Riza gets pulled back. So you see Sojourn with fully charged railgun. What does that mean? It means, hey, look, I need to eat the railgun shot because that could potentially kill someone who is low. Railgun is very dangerous. Where are you going? This is not the time to be taking high ground. I would be at least wait to make sure the railgun is no longer a threat. But you got up here. Okay, that's fine. So we've applied some damage, but the problem is they're just walking over your team, right? The moment for you to try to save people was back here, right? To prevent any extra damage. Like Coalescence, fine. But Coalescence actually doesn't do much damage. It only does about like 70 damage a second. Not that much. The key thing was for you to prevent all the other spam from hitting them. Then when Reaper engages, now you're over here, right? With the Reaper, saving them from Reaper. There's no reason to be over here. Like, yeah, you're doing damage, but your team just got walked over and killed. Doesn't matter what you're doing if your team just gets killed. And you have the power to stop this. That is literally what tanks do. They control space. They take space. They defend space. That's what tanks do. You can't do that right now. Right? It's not even worth analyzing this. All right. So we're going to come out here. I mean, I think you're just in stagger mode, right? There's already 2 heroes dead by the time you come out. There's like no way to win this. At least the bomb placement is okay. All right, fine. That's D.Va. So as bad as your D.Va play looks, your Zarya play is actually even worse. Okay? It is even worse than your D.Va play. So for Zarya, basic 101 rule of playing Zarya when you use bubbles. Actually, 2 rules. Number 1, bubbles are almost always for you. 95% of your bubbles are for you, not for teammates. Can you use them on teammates? You can. The overwhelming majority of the time, you don't use them on teammates because teammates are never expecting a bubble, which means they usually aren't going to die or take more damage after they start getting low anyway, which means you'll pop bubble and then they will, for example, Moira fade away or Reaper wraith away or Genji will use deflect or whatever it ends up being and the bubble will be wasted. Okay? That doesn't mean all the time, but 90 to 95% of the time, I think that is accurate. Okay? So, what we're going to do here, all right, that's kind of rule number 1. Rule number 2, you trade bubbles for space, not for energy. Don't go in and think, okay, I'm going to use bubbles to get energy, because everybody else also knows that's what you're going to do. Instead of running in and be like, oh, okay, like, you know, please shoot me. Instead, be like, I'm just going to keep beaming you until you stop me from beaming you by shooting me. So if you go in here and beam the Orisa might be like, oh, you're only doing 95 damage a second. I don't care. It just kind of chills. But if you walk in here and start beaming the Moira has to respect that. Even at 95 damage a second, I'm killing the Moira in 2.5 seconds. She needs to do something about that. Either they need to damage me enough to stop me from shooting her, or she needs to fade away. If she fades away and nobody shoots me, I just keep going. If nobody stops me, like at 95 damage a second, at 0 energy, I'll still kill everybody. Like they have to deal with me at some point in time. And when they shoot you, that's when you bubble. Not just with a little tap, but when they commit to trying to actually stop you, then you pop bubble. So let's watch this play out. Why did we pop bubble now? This is a very telegraphed, hey, look, I'm just trying to get energy right now. And what does the Orisa do? Nothing. And it's funny that you say, oh, tanks have no agency over games, but the enemy Orisa is way better than you, right? Like we've seen it all game long. The enemy Orisa is constantly creating space. She is getting picks. She's pushing back your team. All things that you are not doing, despite the fact that you are playing a quote unquote counter to her in this scenario. Like, she has enormous impact over the game. You have very little impact over the game. That is the problem. So this bubble is completely wasted. All right. So she javelins you. Fine. All right. And you're like, okay, cool. Now you're waiting. Okay. So you're low right now. So now you're like, okay, you care bubble. But once again, the Orisa's like, oh, well, I don't really need to shoot you because I'm full health. I can literally just stop shooting and that's it. And now we see another bubble that's used, and you get 13 energy out of it. So instead of being at 80 or 85, whatever the bubble energy is nowadays, right? But instead of being at 80 plus, you're at 13. because you just wasted 2 bubbles. I would say anything that is 20 or below on a bubble is almost always a throw, right? That is almost always a failing grade at a bubble. Unless it saves somebody or it blocks a critical cooldown like Sleep Dart, getting less than 20 energy in a bubble is a fail. You failed 2 bubbles in a row. If this happened to me, I would assume I'm going to lose the fight. It's really, really hard to recover from having 2 bubbles that get totally wasted. So you're low right now, and then you get killed. And you don't seem to have any read of the situation. Like, look, you're at 223 health. You pop bubble, but that's only going to last for a little bit. Now, right now, after the bubble ends, you should have realized I need to back up. At this moment in time, I'm like, oh wait, she's not gonna shoot it. Even if she did shoot it, she could just kill you through it. Back up, right? Back up this way, back up this, any direction that is not moving towards her. You're trying to aggress right now, and then you try to hold this corner, but you have no health. Look at the Orisa. Look at it from the Orisa's perspective, okay? We see Zarya. She wasn't even looking at you when you bubbled, and she's like, okay, cool, I'll just wait this out, right? She's taunting you with the thank you, right? Now she starts shooting at you. She shoots at you with some more. Now you pop bubble, and she just stops. And now she waits. I don't know why she spins. This is obviously unnecessary. And now she kills you. Does that Zarya look like she knows what she's doing? Or does the Zarya look like she's throwing? The Zarya looks like she's throwing. Like, it doesn't look like you know how to play Zarya. So that's the first death. Second death. So we're going to come out here. All right, great. So I don't know why we're reloading already. There's multiple heroes in view. Generally speaking, with pretty much all heroes, if there are enemies in view when you have ammo, you should keep shooting. Just shoot it all. Just like you've got to farm ult charge, right? Just keep shooting. Left click, right click, whatever you want, right? Generally speaking, I would say left click's probably better here, but that's fine. So she aggresses on you, we pop bubble. I think that's understandable, right? You were taking a significant amount of damage. Okay. We back up here. Okay, it's fine. So Risa's fortified. She halves all damage. I don't want to commit anything here. I also know she doesn't feel scared, so I'm not going to pop bubble here. All right, so just chilling. Okay, good. We're saving bubble. Right, so there's some damage, and you pop bubble here, and, you know, I kind of understand why you popped it. I wouldn't have popped it because you're still too high health. Like, when you're at 500 something health, no one's going to think you're going to die. So no one's going to shoot at you. So I'd probably save bubble there, especially since the Orisa's demonstrated discipline to not shoot you. Now, at this moment in time, okay, I think I might be in a little bit of trouble, right? I'm right-clicking, and I back up again, because I don't have any bubbles, right? Everything I do is based on my energy level, my health, and the number of bubbles I have. But, great, you get a kill here. I want to back up a little bit, right? Because I got a lot of damage right now. So we bubble, right? Back up. So again, we see you reloading constantly, unnecessarily. You're at 100 ammo right now. 89, 87. Why are we reloading at 87? What the heck? Just shoot her. Why do we need a 13 ammo? Just shoot her. She's not even fortified right now. Just shoot her. Just beam her. Beam her right now. Again, you do right now about 120 damage a second. You'll kill the Orisa in 5 seconds, not including armor, right? It's not trivial damage, right? Just beam her. All right, we're beaming her. So now would be a great time to have any one of those bubbles that you wasted. So you're trying to right-click to finish, but your technique is off. Right, should have right-clicked again before reloading. All right, so now we're beaming her. Okay, great. So we reload. What do I do right now? Not to the left, but to the right, because I hear people on the right. I need to clear both sides of the statue in order to move forwards. Basic technique to clearing King's Row, right? You need to make sure that there aren't enemies right here who are aggressing your backline before you can move in this way. So we walk in. Okay, so again, what are we doing here? If our goal is to kill the Orisa, the fastest way to kill the Orisa is left click all the way down to 1 ammo and right click. Basic Zarya technique. Single target kills, beam them down until you're 1 ammo, and then you right click. Okay, there are some nuance there, but generally speaking, that is the way it works, especially against tanks. Why are we reloading at 31? Why are we right clicking at 57? There's no need for this. Just beam her. Just beam her. Literally just beam her. Like, you're overcomplicating things. All right, so now we bubble. And what does this look like? What does this look like to you? This looks like an ultimate to me. This is Terror Surge, right? Same thing as Reaper. Reaper just rafes into your backline. He's going to pop ulti. Risa uses spin to suddenly drive into your backline. It's going to be ulti. You should not be moving towards her. You should be moving away from her so you don't get sucked in. But instead, you follow her basically dead on, and now you get pulled in. And when you get pulled in, what's the best way to survive? Go this way. This is the shortest possible route to breaking LOS on her ulti. Instead, you walk straight backwards and then you die. How can you look at this and think, man, I'm good at tank, right? People say if you outplay the average player in your rank, you'll climb. I've been doing that, but it hasn't been happening. How could you look at this game and think, I am outplaying anyone, much less the opposing tank? The enemy tank is consistently holding you back, baiting your abilities, out-trading you in damage, and using ultimates that get way more value than yours. How can you look at this and think, this is on my team, right? Like, you need to have an ego check here, because you're not doing anything. All you're doing is just dying. It's not your support's fault. It's not your DPS fault. You literally are just losing to the opposing tank. Just straight up, the tank is outplaying you. Like, she's bullying you out of the game. Right? Like, when you pop a bubble, the enemy tank's like, oh, thank you, and doesn't shoot you, that's humiliating, right? At some level. And I'm not trying to humiliate you. I'm just illustrating the fact that the enemy tank is much better, is demonstrating way more value than you are, right? Like, people make mistakes, it's fine, but you're continually making mistakes on both heroes nonstop. Again, we have not seen one good play in 7 minutes of gameplay, right? Like, nothing. Like, you point to one moment in this game, the one timestamp. Like, do you even have a final blow? Right? I think you played all of defense. I don't think you got a single final blow. So, you know, if I give you 4 minutes, you can't get one kill. Exactly, you know, where's your value coming from? Right? You think everybody else gets the kills and you don't get any? Because like tanks also average something like 8 to 10 final blows per 10 minutes. Right? You should be getting one every minute or so. All right, I think that bubble is probably okay. It's pretty low. All right, so now we're beaming her down. Again, why are we right-clicking? No need to right-click. Just beam her. Just beam her. Right-clicking does half as much DPS as left-clicking. Generally speaking, there's a lot of nuance to it, but generally speaking, if the target stays in view, continually beam them only. Left-click only. Keep beaming. Why you're reloading with 47 ammo? I would have just killed the Orisa by now. It's not because I had better aim. It's because I would literally just not reload or right click. I would just beam her and she would be dead. It's not hard. Just beam her. Don't right click. Just beam. Just beam. All right. So now I need to back way the heck up. But the problem is we've lost too many heroes here, right? So the read here is like, look, we lost 2 DPS. I can't be playing up here, right? You got to be backing up, regroup with your team, and play over here, right? Your supports are also being locked out by the coalescence, which is another reason to be backing up. And now we've just reset. We finally got energy, and now we get completely reset, which the Orisa here makes a great call, right? She realizes, it's like, wait, look, you're separated from your DPS, right? Your DPS are dead. Your supports are on the other side of the bus, right? And she's like, look, I have an opportunity to kill here, and she does, and this reset is massive, right? This is basically a game-winning reset on you. Right? If you just went back to base and gotten re-healed and kept your energy, you probably win the next fight. Oh, why are we right-clicking? Just beam her. 15 meters is a long range. Just keep beaming her. Right? That reload's okay. Just keep beaming her. This nano was objectively bad. I think that everyone's feeling frustrated and they're trying to figure out like how to get through this choke because there's no progress otherwise. I would point out that you are hitting nobody right now with a beam. Like this beam is not hitting anybody. So you're wasting ammo right there. So you pull in the Sojourn. All right, that's fine. You know what? You force tree. Okay, fine. We'll live with it. Okay, just keep beaming. Right, reload. That's fine. Orisa can die here. So the second you hear Reaper's ulti, you turn, be like, hey, look, is there anybody I can bubble? Right, bubble, for example, the Juno for a save. Great, and then burn down the Reaper. I know the tank looks killable. Tanks are way less killable than they seem. This is a general tip for all heroes, all roles. Tanks are less killable than they look because they have so many defensive cooldowns and they often get healed by their supports. Instead of worrying about the Orisa, worry about the ultimate. If you kill the Orisa but the Reaper kills your backline, you lose anyway. Turn around. Bubble right now to save your backline and kill the Reaper. Instead, you continually go after the Orisa. For the record, you could have just killed her right now because she is spinning. Do not right click. Just beam. Just beam. She's down to what, 40 health, 30 health. Just beam her and she dies. You don't kill her here because you right clicked into her spin, which ate it. Right? And now she gets healed up. Literally, if you just beamed instead of that right click, she would be dead right now. Like, the amount of errors you are making is nuts. like every second of gameplay, you are making a mistake. So, again, I wouldn't be hyper-aggressive here. You don't have any energy, and you don't have any bubbles, and you just lost a teammate. Just back up, right? Patience is a critical part of playing tank, right? Timing. Now you finally have energy, and then you die again. Like, all you have to do is be like, look, hey, look, somebody gets picked, it happens, right? Don't get so close. You have 15-meter beam range, all right? You do not need to play this close. Just back up, right? This gets popped, I see Moira die, I just back up to the left, right? Walk back behind the bus, fine, right? Regroup. I definitely am not aggressing into 3 heroes like this, right? Now they push back into you, right? Ulti gets popped. And once again, we see that Orisa has popped an ultimate and won the fight. How many ultimates have you popped that have won any fights? 0. The enemy Orisa is dramatically outplaying you in every single respect. I don't even know what's happening here. I don't know why you're trying to chase the backline right now when there's a reason we're in your backline. Like, all you're doing is continuing to build more and more space, like, away from your team and getting into a more and more vulnerable spot. And you get burned down, and then you die for it. Like, there's no point in watching the rest. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get back to the point. I don't look at this and think, yeah, you're good at tank. You just gotten really unlucky. You deserve a higher rank. I look at this and think, I don't even know how you got the gold. This does not look like somebody who knows how to play the game. The way that I describe it is bronze is the level where you don't know how your hero works and you don't know how an enemy hero works, right? You're like, man, I don't know how I'm supposed to play my hero. I also don't know what Reaper does. I don't know what Pharah does. I don't know what any of those heroes do, right? Silver is a level where you at least know what your hero is generally supposed to do. Winston, I dive on the enemy, right? Zarya, I build energy and zap people, okay? Blah, blah, blah. Now, at gold, you're supposed to know how your hero works and how enemy heroes work, okay? As Zarya, I build energy over time, and then I'm really dangerous later in the fight when I have bubbles and I have energy. For the enemy Orisa, she's going to cycle her cooldowns to be very durable. She can pretty much only deal with target who's directly in front of her. Also, she has Terra Surge, so I can't group up with teammates, or I need to save a bubble for it. I'm not seeing any of that. All I see on you and D.Va Zarya is you just run it down main. That's why it's so ironic that you said players just run straight the enemy tank to the middle of the map. That's what you're doing. It's literally what you're doing. All you do is just run at the enemy tank. Often, when you outrange them, and you still decide for whatever reason to get face-to-face touching them, like basically kissing them on the lips. Why? Just use your range. Right? 50-meter range is a lot. Just use it. Just use the range. Just beam her down from farther, because her damage will drop off and yours won't. You do the full damage whether or not you're at 0 meters or at 15 meters. But her damage will drop off a lot because her projectiles have travel time, so she won't be able to track you perfectly. Right? You're also a much smaller target. You're half the size of her. Like, okay. Again, we're going to hold there. You have so many fundamental issues you have across both heroes. I recommend that if you're going to try to play these heroes, right, you should watch a guide on how the heroes work. And you probably think that you are above that at this point in time, but based on what I see, you are not. You do not understand how to play these heroes. All you do is you go from your spawn, you find the enemy brawl tank, and you try to smash their face in poorly. That's why you lose this game. I haven't seen the other games, but I would guess it's going to be something along the same lines. You don't really know how to play the heroes, right? And sometimes things are going to line up where you're going to win anyway, right? Maybe everything lines up. You don't have to make any complex reads or anything like that. Maybe you just beat the enemy's tank's face in, and sometimes that works. But often it won't, and often it's because of your hero's kit. So you need to start learning how to play tank, which starts from right now. Okay, hopefully this was helpful.